Good morning, guys. It's Monday morning. It's a beautiful Monday morning, and I am here in the book of Joshua, and I'm reading chapter 3 from verse 14. Now it says here, so the people left their camp to cross the Jordan, and the priests who were carrying the Ark of the Covenant went ahead of them. It was the harvest season, and the Jordan was overflowing its banks. But as soon as the feet of the priests who were carrying the ark touched the water at the river's edge, the water above that point began backing up a great distance away to a town called Adam, which was near Zarethan. And the water below that point flowed on to the Dead Sea until the riverbed was dry. Then all the people crossed over near the town of Jericho. Meanwhile, the priests who were carrying the Ark of the Covenant stood on dry ground in the middle of the riverbed. As the people passed by, they waited there until the whole nation of Israel had crossed the Jordan on dry ground. Now, a couple of things I want to just share with us quickly. At first is that the people who were carrying the Ark of the Covenant went ahead of them. The presence of God, meaning that the presence of God, we can cultivate the presence of God with our praises, but that went ahead before. Interesting, they made some interesting things, that it was the harvest season and the Jordan River was overflowing its banks. In other words, when they look at it, this was definitely not the time to cross that river. Not even in a boat, because it was what we call high tide or spring tide in the Jordan River. However, as soon as they ignored that and just put their foot based on what God had said to them, they continued and followed the instruction, and as soon as their feet touched the water, it began to back up and that side, and it explained where, how far up and how far down, and so the people were able to walk across on dry ground. I want to talk to us, remind us today, to tell us, ignore the negative signs. Once God has given you a word on that victory, ignore the negative signs. If they had looked at it and be like, oh my gosh, I know God says that we can cross this river, but I mean, this is harvest season, it's overflowing, we definitely can't. Not now, they would not have seen that miracle. But here they were able to experience again with Joshua what Moses had done, where God was able to back up the waters for them to pass through. God knows how to back up the things that are hindering you, the things that will prevent you from crossing over. Once you begin to praise Him and His presence goes before you, those things will back up to the right and to the left and make a clear path for you through whatever it is that's hindering you from your promised land. That's my word that I want to encourage us today. Ignore the negative signs. If they had looked at all of that, they would not have moved, but they got themselves prepared and they stepped out in faith and they were able to cross over. In spite of, we know there were too many, there would not have been enough boats, and it would have been a back and a forth and whatever, but God was able to show His miracle working power and take them across to the other side. He'll take you over to the other side. Ignore those negative signs and follow the instructions that God has given you and step into your destiny today and during this week. That's my word of encouragement to you. Remember, He loves you with an everlasting love, and I do too. Be blessed, guys.